Okay, guys. So you asked a couple questions. I'm going to show you a couple different little things. First, when you get it, comes in the box, just like I had showed you. This is what it looks like. You'll get a little Ethernet cord. Of course, you run it down through the bottom. Comes over. I have this one plugged into the second port. You can plug it into either of these ports here. They will work just fine. I have one light little setup right there. Bam. All of it's hooked up. So once you get all that hooked up, usually the light on it will be blinking. That indicates that the power's on. So when you get into your computer, it'll come with your CD key, and of course you have to put that in. If not, it tells you you're in a demo. So I'm going to go over here to I'm going to type in light-o-rama, light-o-rama, and there's a control panel. So when you click on it, usually comes up with this. Sometimes it'll also just tell you it is now running in your service tray. You don't need that, close it out. Down here, you have this little red guy. Right click it and it brings up this whole list. You go to hardware, utility. Click on that and it brings this up. So in here, mine's already set up. I have mine running through my booster box, so my port is already set up to COM port 5. Since, as you can tell on here, it says COM port 5. All you have to do is literally click auto configure. It says please make sure it's on, which now it's not blinking because it's going to start searching for it. You click OK. Device found on COM port 5. Remember, whatever port you plug it into to do this, you always have to plug it back into that same port. Makes it very confusing. If you try to plug it into other ones, it'll actually throw an error. I'll kind of show you that just in case you get the error. So if I unplug it, plug it into a different COM port, go back down here, right click, utility hardware. So I come back over here, it says COM port 5. It doesn't give me any others on there. Let's go auto config. So exact same process. So I hit OK. light-o-rama found on COM port 5. So apparently something's going on with that. Normally, if I plug in just my yellow cord right here, it tells me it can't find it because I've already installed everything for this here, which is the light-o-rama booster box. Once you get that in there, it's very easy. I'm already set up. When you hit auto config, it'll actually come up with a little search bar and it says searching, and it'll take about 2 to 5 minutes depending on how long or fast your computer is, and it'll load it in. Everything will come up. So as of on here, you can tell that it's already found it on COM port 5. See, searching network. So it'll do this for a couple minutes. And it's going to analyze everything this has. It'll automatically put in how many channels it has. So of course I'll show you that here in just a second. I'm going to kind of cut it out a little bit so this way you're not sitting here for 2 to 5 minutes waiting for the screen to load. Alright, so now I'm back. As you can tell, this here says searching network. At the top here says downloading, download test. So as soon as this is done, all of this fold came out. Told me you found a unit, here it is. Now of course on here, yours will say something different because I have mine set up to channel 2 because this is the second box that was still brand new in the box that I hadn't messed with yet. So in here you can tell all of these, only 16 are lit up because that's all the channels that this one has. If you buy the residential, that's all you're going to get. So on here, now that it's all set up, I have these lights set up into number 2, which is here. If you try to just run one light, it's going to pop this up. You need at least 2 channels. Just so you know, no big deal. I'm going to turn on that one. So if I do shimmer, so I want on at 100%. So it tells me it's on at 100%. So come back over, turn it off. If I want steady, let's go fade from 0 to 100. So it'll fade up really quickly because it's set to fade very fast. So I can change that here. Let's fade, take 9 seconds. So let's go ahead and fade. And it's going to take 9 seconds there to fully get to the brightest point. So same thing here. And you can set intensity, start intensity where it's going to start and end. Like the shimmer, I like the way that that one looks. I think it looks really cool, especially when you're outside. I use that effect a lot. So everything's configured. Now you're ready to rock and roll. So you can close that out. You can go in, start programming all of your lights. Mine, of course, light-o-rama sequence editor. Now this is the second question that was asked, is how I added the photo in there. So I'm going to show you how that's done and how to set it up. I'm not going to go through everything entirely. I'll let you do it. So on here, new sequence, double click on it. I've already just put a song in here just to show you. So I'm going to open up that song. Now when this pops up, it says channel select. Of course I have this one here, which is my saved channel, so I don't have to do this every time. When you first get it, it'll say 8, delete it, put 16, because you are running 16 channels. At the bottom here, you have a 1/10 of a second, half second, 1 second, or you can change the values and on a fixed timing. They do have other options on this side, you know, Beat Wizard, different things like that. It's okay. I prefer a 1/10 because it, to me, works a lot better, but definitely depends on you. So I have this saved as my default, and I just hit OK. I do not use a fixed timing grid because I want to be able to adjust my timings, and I'll show you that. So I hit OK. It's going to analyze my media file, pops right up. This is my first time, you know, if it was my first time using it, everything is set up in blue. So I click on here, blue, unit 1 of 1, you know, it's all set up how it should be. So when you get it, this is what it'll be. You can rename it, recolor it like I said in the last video. So I'm going to show you how to add that picture. If you go up here to the top in view, and you go down to animation, you click on it, it'll automatically ask you, do you want to add an image? So I'm going to click yes, and it'll bring up my files to add an image. If you hit no, no big deal. You go to background image. So that one there, you click to select. I go to my desktop, and I've got a picture of my house. That's it. I go outside, snap a picture, save it on my desktop. I hit open. Here it is. Now on the side, I do have a plus and a minus. If you watch the boxes, they get really, really small or really, really big. I kind of stick mine in the middle because I have quite a few lights. Then you go down to the bottom, press OK. Now this is my file here. As you can tell, it's nice and clean. I always like doing simulate nighttime. It darkens up the picture so you can take it no matter what time of day. Now over in the corner you have a draw, erase, and view. Of course it's in view, so I'm going to go to draw. Down here's your drop box. I have 18 channels, so that's how many, or 16, I apologize, 16 channels. So it's going to tell me that I have 16 different ways. So let's say unit number 1, channel 1, is going to be my tree out front. So you can zoom in on the picture, and of course, see, this is where those squares that I showed you, I usually make them smaller. Well, I'm on channel 1, let's make the tree channel 1. So I just click and draw however I want. There's a tree there, tree there, and I just kind of, you know, I don't follow everything to the spec on the tree. On the house line, roof line, I usually do, you know, to make it a nicer picture. So that's channel 1. Then as you go over here, let's go to channel 2. I want to show you a little bit of a difference here, just in case you get confused. If you look at the blue, it's kind of lit up. If I go to channel 2, it darkens down. So that's how you know you're on a different channel. So when they're next to each other, you can actually tell that one is brighter than the other. You right click to delete one. So number 2, say that's my front window. So here's my front window. And I'm sorry, I'm doing this one-handed on a laptop with no mouse. So that's my front window. Now, if you did another unit and you selected channel number 3 and say it's this side of the window, well, you're going down, and if you accidentally go over the line there, so those two cross, I know that if this line was the last one you did, when you use the other unit, so number 2 was this window, unit number 3 was this window, when you play number 2, wherever the square from the other unit had crossed over that, it'll actually delete. the previous one. So on here, if it deletes it, the only other way is to go back over here on channel 2, and then see, if you notice, it's not over here. It's got a different color blue because I went across it. So I'd have to click on that and it would finish my window out. But now that window's off. So of course, anytime you're crossing lights, like my fence line actually goes up here on my little piece, and I actually stop on this side, so I still have my tree, and I start back over on this side. And most of the time you can't tell. You know, it's only a couple little squares. So that's how I draw it, and then you view it, and now you're viewed. So if I take this back down, kind of minimize it, and I'm going to shrink the picture over here so it fits in there. Simple. Now I said number 1 is going to be on for each one of these up top here are 1/10 of a second. So that's 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4, and so on. You can change that to minutes if you want, however you want to set it up. So let's have that on for 1.5 seconds. Then we'll go to number 2 and have it on for a second. Unit number 3, have it on for a couple seconds. So if I hit play, if you watch the video down here, you will see on, and then on. Now, I'm going to kind of show you here. I should be able to stop it. Okay. I guess it won't let me. If you watch the window right here, it'll have that 1 pixel out, like I was telling you, because I crossed the line. But that's how it's done. Now, after you've added all your lines in, you don't want to do this on every single video. So, you want to go up to the top, and you go File. I apologize, I got to find it here. Here we are. You go to Edit. At the very bottom, you have Import, Export Channel Configuration. So, you can go Export Channel Configuration. Mine's set up here, new picture with light setup. So, you can save yours however you want on there, and then it'll save in here. So when you go to create a new one, you're like, I like a different song. So you're going to create, say, a different song. Well, see how I had that other one saved because I exported it? Well, you can automatically click on that. Now if you forget to, and you started here, so you forgot to you forgot to click on your image at the bottom. So it's going to create a new one, and you're like, I already made an image. Well, go back up here, you go to Edit, and you go down to Export or Import, and then you just import. So I'm going to import my last image that I've already done. Well, here's my import image where I have 32 channels set up. So when I go to my animation, and I make it big, all my lights are already set up on there. So I don't have to do it on every single song that I do. It's just automatically there. So that's another good thing to know while you're editing. So, and like I said, most of the time, I always forget. You always have to go down here and right click, and you can actually, enable your schedule, your show editor. You can go through just about anything in here. If you have any questions on how any of that works, I'm not a pro at it, but I can definitely help you out. So, sorry the video took so long. Hopefully I answered all the questions you've asked. If you do have any other questions, post it back up. I'll try to make another video. It's getting a little late here, just got off work. But, again, thank you for your questions.